So you had a hell of a day, huh?
I did. Most of them are.
Yeah. All right. Welcome to Armchair GMs, episode 5, maybe. Um, this week we're going to be talking about the Titans, the phenomenal game that happened this past Sunday. What'd you think?
I wish I could say I saw it. I feel terrible that I couldn't watch the game. I'm stuck in Atlanta and it wasn't in my market because they wanted to show the Falcons beating the piss out of the Saints. Understandably. But I mean, who could have called that being a game worth watching? And yet, Titans Chiefs, both teams were. I mean, yeah, I'm sad. But I kind of felt like I was there. I still have thousands of people that I'm friends with on Twitter that were watching the game and kept putting up little clips of it. So, like, here and there, I got little crumbs. Still really depressing. But hey, I'm
It,
happy they won. That's awesome.
it was a phenomenal game. I was practicing while the game was going on, and where we practiced, they have two big screens up, or two big TVs, not screens. But and the game was on obviously the entire time. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, if we would have picked that game last week, because obviously we had other
Yeah.
things going on last week. But had we had picked those games, I would not have picked the Titans. And even up until like 23 seconds to go, when they blocked the field goal, no, that was 4 seconds. 4 seconds to go. Excuse me, dude. It was a phenomenal game. Derrick Henry dominated that defense. Even though Patrick Mahomes still had over 400 something yards, I won't say 423 yards passing, and still had an MVP game. They didn't get the win because the Titans ran all over their ass completely. I mean, Tannehill had a great game. He's a great game manager, if you will. I'm sorry, but he can throw the deep ball. He's
Hmm.
made a huge difference, dude. He's made a
He's got
big
a live
difference.
arm.
So let me ask you this, because I mean I remember when we first started, you seemed kind of perturbed that Tannehill was starting over Mariota. How do you feel?
No, I don't. I wasn't perturbed. It was a time. It was something that had to happen. So Mariota couldn't just continue to start. He wasn't being effective. And people who are Mariota apologists, I think, can go in there and make a reasonable argument that he didn't get the help that he needed. But a quarterback's job is not to be the product of all the help around him. It's to make the team better. And at that point, they had to change Mariota out. Now Tannehill has had some success in Miami when he was actually healthy, and he didn't have a lot to work with there. He had a couple really decent seasons that people forget about because Miami just really stays in this sort of between 5 and 10 wins kind of seasons every year. But Tannehill's a good quarterback, and Tannehill's a guy who's had to sit through a lot of different head coaches, a couple of different systems. If he's somewhere for a long period of time, he could be successful. He could be successful here because, good Lord, we haven't scored points all season. And then what was the final score, Kansas City? 35-32? Give or
Yeah.
take. I mean, for us to put up 35 points against any team, we should be able to win those games with the defense we have. So
Yeah,
I,
35-32 was the final score.
he's going to have a couple of bad throws every game. He's always had a couple of bad throws every game. You've put him up against a guy like Mitch Trubisky, who throws the ball right to the defense 5 or 6 times a game. He's better than that. He's not going to be better than the top 5 quarterbacks, but he's a good placeholder for a team that's got the rest of the pieces, which the Titans on Sunday, based on everything that I've gone back and seen and highlights and so back and so forth, it just seems like they're right there. I mean, they could still be in this conversation at the end of the year if he gets enough good games in a row. I mean, what's his record since he took over? Like 3-1.
They've
I think we've
lost.
lost one game with Tannehill, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty damn good.
God, who was it? Was it
Carolina.
yes. Last week with Carolina. Wow. That I tell you another game that the 49ers, we finally have all teams that have suffered a loss in the NFL.
Man, that was a phenomenal game.
See, now I have to apologize because I'm pretty sure I just fell asleep.
But a
I'm
lot of
pretty
people
sure that's
did.
all it was.
Dude, I'm in Eastern time. It was even later here. The game doesn't start till 8:20. So it was hard to watch that game. It's almost midnight, and I'm laying right here in the bed. I got it pulled up on Yahoo Sports, watching on the phone, the headphones in, and I'm like, somebody please God win this game. It was a great game. If it'd been early in the day, I'd want to continue watching this game. I wanted to be like triple overtime. But I had tears
Did
running out
you
of my
really
eyes. I was
say
so
that
tired.
you were watching that game on Yahoo Sports? Who the fuck still has Yahoo Sports? Am I, do you still have Hotmail and MySpace and shit? What
I
the
am a cord
fuck,
cutter.
dude?
I don't have cable. I don't have satellite. I have to finagle TV through apps and things. So the last couple of years, not to get off topic, but the NFL has had streaming rights deals like they do with the TV stations. Now, for those not in the know, the NFL makes the bulk of their money off the TV contracts. Billions of dollars bid on by Fox and NBC, CBS, ESPN, whoever to broadcast the games. But now Verizon bought Yahoo a couple years ago, and then they bid on the streaming rights, which is significantly cheaper than the other stuff, and they get to put the games on. The benefit of watching it this way is you don't get a ton of the extra commercials. It'll actually just kind of say, we'll be right back, and it'll have like a blank screen for 45 seconds, which to me is better than seeing the "Don't leave till you see me" Kia commercial guy and
Right.
all the local Yahoo bullshit. But it's fun, and you get to have it on the phone and walk around with it, which I never get to win the TV here anyway. It's a win-win for everybody.
There you
Wife's
go.
not gonna watch football, but so I'm watching this game. Some would say it's a sloppy game. I would say it was a great defensive battle that happened to have some points. Everybody looked good, both sides of both teams. It was competitive. It was down to the end, back and forth, and really, I thought that Shanahan was going to try to go for the tie there towards the end. I thought he was going to try to lay it up and play defense and play for the tie. But kudos to him for being aggressive. I mean, he lost the game. San Francisco really has nothing to hang their head about. They're 8-1. I think just about anybody would take that at this point in the season. And we all got pretty much the game of the year at this point. It was good.
No, it was a phenomenal week for football this past Sunday. Sorry, I was looking something up when you were talking about that because
No, it's all good.
I was reading something today because the injury that happened to their receiver Tyler. Yeah,
Lockett, yeah, I think he
yeah,
just now flew back home.
yeah. Apparently they because they have a bye coming up, but he should be. They're saying he's going to be good to go for the game after the bye. So we'll see. Basically,
Well,
just a
Seattle's still in
bruise.
pretty good shape. I mean,
Oh yeah,
they got Josh Gordon now, and then they've got is it DK Metcalf? He's starting to come around. I mean, he had a good game the other night. He's a big receiver, and they were able to throw the ball pretty deep to him a couple of times, which I thought is nice. The one thing Seattle has always lacked is a deep threat. Maybe the closest they've ever had to is Doug Baldwin, but being able to have these big receivers that he can just throw the ball up to, it's going to make Russell Wilson better as the year goes on. I mean,
dude.
you look at Josh Gordon, and he's not really involved in the offense. If he actually gets integrated and starts having 100-yard games with the crew they have around him, it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah. No, I mean, just the year that Russell Wilson is having right now, he's having an MVP year by far, and it's his best career year already. I mean, who else can you really put in the running for the MVP at this point? Who do you say?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson is like cut and dry above Patrick Mahomes.
I think Mahomes is slipping because he had the 2 games where he was out. It's going to be hard to make up the ground. Now, it's not like you can't. There have been people who have been injured and went and gone to win the MVP. But if you're gonna make it about an even race, people who have done the most to help their team, it's got to be Jackson and Russell Wilson at this point. And it's closer than people think. I really think Lamar Jackson is more of a pocket passer than people realize. They see the rushing highlights, they see the rushing yards every week, but he's really controlling that Baltimore team. And I think by him being a player from the pocket, it's making the guys around him better, just like Wilson does. I mean, you see Wilson run with intention and really get involved in trying to get those first downs on third down, those long runs and things. But more often than not, Russell Wilson's throwing the ball, and that's what Jackson does too. They're both a lot like each other.
Right. So,
That make a pretty
yeah.
good argument. You're thinking about it.
Well, I'm just thinking, I was talking to my brother about this the other day. We were talking about Lamar Jackson and, just that type of quarterback that, you see them come through. You see a lot of run and gun, if you will, quarterbacks, and they don't last. They never last. I mean, they just don't. Only pocket, really, the pocket passers. That's the quarterback that stays and gets the rings. I mean,
Right.
can you? Who's the last pocket passer to get a ring?
Pocket passer?
No, excuse me, I said that wrong. Who's the last? What am I looking for here?
The last
What?
mobile quarterback to win a Super
Thank
Bowl?
you. The last mobile quarterback.
I'm thinking. I know Tom Brady's won 6 of the last 20,
Right.
and you had Roethlisberger, you had Eli Manning in there. Who else has won? Nick
Peyton
Foles,
Manning.
Peyton Manning a couple times. Yeah, you can't really. There's not a lot of them. I mean, Russell Wilson, if you consider him to be a mobile quarterback, he won it 6 years ago.
Yeah, I
And
guess. I mean,
that's the thing is he's never missed a game due to injury, right? I don't think
exactly.
Russell Wilson ever has.
I mean, if he has, I mean, I don't remember it.
The difference between guys like him and also from my vantage point, Lamar Jackson at this point in his career and other guys who are just reckless like your Robert Griffins and your Michael Vicks is that they know how to slide and get down and they don't take hits. They avoid contact almost like an art form and they're not afraid to throw the ball away. You know, you
Yeah,
have guys that try to fight too hard to get that first down. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is a guy that really bothers me because he's got a lot of talent, but he just won't avoid those hits. He goes after him. He plays too aggressively and winds up getting hurt every season. He misses a couple of games. I don't think he has this year, but he's had some nagging injuries, and they just continue to pop up for guys like that.
yeah, but I mean, he's reckless. He puts his body
That's the word.
in too much danger. I mean, you don't see really anybody doing that right now.
That's the word.
I mean, and you cannot do that and expect to play a full season. You just can't do it. Not in the
No,
NFL.
it's dangerous, and it's also a lot to ask a team to have 2 quarterbacks that can win games. You're seeing it a lot this year. It's really, I mean, if you step back and really think about it, it's freakish how many backup quarterbacks are able to come in and win. The guy in Carolina, Kyle Allen, came in and he's won. He's kept Carolina alive, and Cam Newton's out for the year. People are still looking at Carolina as possibly sneaking into the playoffs. Drew Brees goes out. Bridgewater comes in. Of course, Bridgewater's had starter experience, but that's one. Tannehill's another one. List goes on and on. Gardner Minshew, I was surprised they benched him, but he came in and won games as a 6th-round draft pick rookie. I mean, there's a lot of other seasons where you have teams that are very promising and they've got the pieces around them. They get a quarterback injury for 3-4 games. The whole season falls apart.
Yeah,
You haven't seen it this year. It's completely the opposite.
yeah, because everybody's planning for it now. There's so much more. I mean, the best backup I've seen since I've been paying attention to football was when Brady went out that one year when was Castle, right?
Yep. That was
Yeah,
the
that's
08
when.
year.
Yeah, dude, he came in and kept them like rolling along like it was nothing, and that right there was the year that everybody knew it was all Bill Belichick up there. He's the reason the Patriots do what they do. Don't get me wrong, Tom Brady's a huge part of it. But what did Matt Castle do when he left there? Not a fucking thing. He didn't do shit when he left there.
He had a couple of okay seasons, but he fell off pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. No, he went to Denver, sucked shit there. And
Yeah, he lost a lot of games. I mean, Matt Castle got exposed because Belichick's able to cover up the weaknesses of certain players. Even Tom Brady's got weaknesses, and he's able to kind of hide that. Those guys go other places and other systems, and coaches can't cover that up. And Castle, I mean, I've seen him play some absolutely terrible games. He's bounced around a lot in the league, and I can't believe he's still around. He was playing for somebody not that long ago. Can't remember who it was, but he was a backup earlier this year. I saw him in a game. I thought his arm's been gone for about 3 seasons.
it's not
Anyway,
Houston, is it?
it might be.
I have no idea.
This is somebody.
Yeah, I have no idea if it was Houston or we'll have to figure that out though.
But another backup that's doing well is, reasonably well is Mason Rudolph. They beat the Rams the other day in what was a pretty contentious game. I saw a good bit of that one, and it was kind of low scoring, but Pittsburgh's no joke. And let me tell you, even more important than Mason Rudolph, Minka Fitzpatrick, who I don't think anybody saw this coming. He got traded from the Dolphins to the Steelers, and what looked like another fire sale move. Them just trying to peddle off every decent player they have to try to get draft picks for next year. And Fitzpatrick goes there. The Steelers gave a 1st-round draft pick for him, which was an odd move for Pittsburgh to make. They usually don't do the big blockbuster trades, especially from that side, giving up draft picks. And Fitzpatrick is really a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. It was a huge part of that game the other day.
He has to be up there for Defensive Player of the Year. I mean,
Top 3 at least.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he was tearing it up. I mean, but I mean that's one thing about Pittsburgh. I mean, when's the last time they had a shit defense? It doesn't happen. Not in my lifetime. It
Probably
hasn't.
since Polamalu. I don't know if he ever won Defensive Player, but they've had some good guys. They've not had anybody that's really played or had a season to the level that he's had in the secondary in a long time. And they needed it. They need every bit of it because, without Roethlisberger, they lose their identity. They don't have Antonio Brown this year. And you got to think about it. That's a lot of change for a team to go through. You have an all-pro quarterback and an all-pro wide receiver and Le'Veon Bell, if you want to count that, even though he didn't play last year. You lose all 3 of those guys, and you're still technically in playoff contention at this point in the season.
I don't think Castle's playing anymore. Last thing I'm seeing right here is he was released by the Cowboys in the 2015. Spent 2016 and 17 for backup at the Titans, and then went to Detroit in 2018. But it's not saying that he's still there in Detroit.
Oh,
So
I could have swore I saw him. I've been wrong before.
No. I mean, I think your word was way over mine. But dude, the Rams are looking like shit.
Yeah, they're falling off. Gurley's a concern. They're not using him. They've had a lot of missed opportunities.
Why are they not using him? Are they not using him because of the way? They're not using him because he's hurt. I'm sorry. I think he's injured. Something's wrong with him.
Yeah, he came out of college with bad knees, with one particularly bad knee. He got hurt again in the pros, and it's been rumored. Of course, they're trying to keep this injury information close to the vest for competitive reasons, and I understand that. But it's rumored that his knee is degenerative, and that it's one of these things that's just never going to fix. There's been a couple players with something like this, and they're just never the same player again. And perhaps that's what Gurley is. Now, he had a decent game the other day. I think it was 13 carries and 70 yards, which for a short workload is pretty decent. But they're not putting him in there, and they're not winning enough games to really say that they're resting him for the playoffs. This is a guy that they need. He's a decent receiver out of the backfield. He's a great running back. He's had some fantastic seasons, and they still have enough pieces there, offensive line, that they should be able to get him the push that they need. But it's just not happening. You can see it if you listen to any of the post-game interviews that he's frustrated about it, but he's kind of starting to accept his role. They're paying this dude. I don't know the exact numbers. I know it's more than $10 million a year, and I think the only reason he's still on the Rams this season is because if they cut him, that's a lot of dead money against the cap, not only this year but next year. And next year, I think if they cut him, it goes down significantly. It's like you get over the hump at a certain point in the contract where they don't have as much guaranteed money left. You can get rid of him. I think they're waiting for next year. I think you're looking at Gurley's last year as a Ram, but even more so, I think it's starting to expose Jared Goff as a guy who's not able to play well under pressure. And by pressure, I mean any kind of pass rush up the middle. He makes terrible decisions.
He makes horrible decisions.
Cost him against the Steelers. Cost him the game.
Yep. Dude, that was it was horrible. I mean, but that's why he's been playing all year. He's been falling apart all year. He cannot handle any kind of pressure. And he just makes terrible, like you just said, dude. I'm basically just repeating exactly what the fuck you just said. But seriously, he makes terrible decisions.
You know what he reminds me of? I mean, you remember when Blaine Gabbert got drafted to the Jaguars first season, and they threw him into the Wolves. They said he was going to sit the first year, and they were going to start like Josh McCown or whoever was in there. And the first guy played half of the first game, and then Gabbert was in there the rest of the year. Jaguars weren't ready for that. They had a rebuilding team, and Gabbert got killed.
Yeah, no, he that ruined his career. Just like
it ruined him.
It was the same year that Jake Locker came in. And he got the exact same role thrown on him, and he retired like 2 or 3 years afterwards.
Right, and if you put a guy in there and he gets those types of pass rushes, he starts to get trigger happy. I mean, think about it. You got 300-pound guys coming at you at full speed with nobody slowing them down. It's like a turnstile. People are just running straight through it. And the way that he sees everything, the game speeds up. It doesn't slow down. So I feel like that's kind of what's happening here as well. I mean, and he's had a couple of good seasons. I think most of the credit for their success, I know I sound like everybody else now, should go to Sean McVay because he's been able to coach that team to make Jared Goff look like a better player than he is. Problem is now they re-sign him to this big contract, and if this is the type of player he's going to be year after year after year, it's going to be the same kind of albatross situation you'd have with Gurley's contract if he's not any good and you got him sitting on the roster. So it's I don't
I
know,
mean,
but I'm not a Goff believer, not anymore.
I'm not. I never was. I didn't care about him at USC. I thought he was overrated there. But here's another thing. I'm pretty sure you're going to disagree with me on this, but I think a lot of the last few games have to do more so with the coaching. They've made some really bad play decisions that have led to shitty, endings of games. They're not if he's not hurt, if what if Gurley's not hurt, why are they not utilizing him like they did last year? It makes
Or
no
at least as a
sense.
decoy. Just get him some snaps, and that way you take
Yeah,
pressure off the other guys.
to implement the play action. Otherwise, you're not selling that. You're not buying Golf any time. I don't know.
Right. Well, they're going to be in a tight chase for the division if they do start to step it up, which at this point it's almost too late. Seattle's now 7-2, 8-2. They've only lost 2 games, so they're cruising. You got San Francisco in that division as well, and I mean the Rams are going to run out of spots really quick. The NFC is a powerhouse this year, so you may have a team that was in the Super Bowl last year that doesn't make the playoffs this year in the Rams. And there'll be a lot of changes, I think, next season because you also have to consider Andrew Whitworth, who's a left tackle. He's really up there. If he's not on the last year of his career, the last year is going to be next year. And with a guy that old, I mean, the protections start to become an issue. You have to be able to build around him, and I think they're going to have to invest a lot of draft picks in talent to come back and rebuild that roster. But what did they do with all their draft picks?
They've already traded them all
They're
away,
gone.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Which is the peril in trading for a lot of veteran players. You run out of draft picks and you're stuck with the guys you got.
Yeah. And I mean, with what they gave up for Jalen Ramsey, which I still think it was a good move for them. However, they're crumbling. They're falling apart right now.
Yep,
So
I agree. So we'll see what happens, but it's going to take some time to get figured out. And what you really want to try to do, I mean, I think any NFL team wants to be successful, but especially when you're about to move into a brand new stadium, which they are next year. By the way, Google the pictures of the stadium construction. USA Today had an article about it a couple of days ago where he started to show where it was coming together. It's supposed to be finished pretty soon. It looks amazing. $5 billion stadium.
oh my gosh. Wow,
That's
dude.
4 times the cost of the stadium in Dallas.
when we were on tour down in Dallas, we got to walk around it when they were building it. Dude, it was massive. We couldn't believe it. I can't imagine something being bigger than that.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, it looks like a Walmart compared to some of the stuff that's going up.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's
It's
crazy.
hilarious.
So, do you think there's any cause for concern of like trying to bring somebody else in over Golf, or do you think there's need for quarterback somewhere else that's greater?
I think they need to get more players around Goff. I think they're stuck with him for at least another season. And Sean McVay, nobody's taking his job. He's still one of the
No,
upper
I agree.
echelon coaches in the league. So even if they lose out this year and have a bad year next year, he's not going to lose his job. They're not that stupid. But you're definitely going to put some guys around him. I don't know how you do that with the resources they have. I mean, you're running out of draft picks, but you're spending all your money. You look at the Falcons where they are now. They got there by making decisions like the Rams are doing now. So the Falcons this year could be the Rams next year. And you look into the future and you see, the Falcons have 5 or 6 players that tie up half of their salary cap. The
Yeah.
Rams are almost there. If you have to sign Ramsey to another contract, that's going to be market value. You're not going to let him go after giving him a first round pick unless you're stupid. And then you got Goff making money, Gurley making money. Who's the other guy? Aaron Donald. I mean, those 4 players right there, you got to probably figure that's going to be $60 to $70 million in cap space for each season. They're on the team.
Mm.
And you
Wow.
have no draft picks. So what do? You really are looking down the barrel of the gun. They're going to have to find some late round guys, and that's asking a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right. So, what team needs a quarterback the most?
Right now,
Yeah, right now.
and I almost want to say Carolina, even though I like Kyle Allen. I don't think he's good enough to pull him through in the end. I think he's had a decent season, and he's going to be one of these strong backup guys in his career, but he's not going to be a starter. So maybe them, just based on where they are. I think if Carolina had, like a top 15 quarterback in the league which he's not at this point in his career. That they could be competitive with McCaffrey in the playoffs. Maybe in the AFC, who needs a quarterback? I mean, Miami's obvious. I don't know who else would still need one. I mean, hell, most of the backups are playing as well as the starters.
The reason I bring this up is because it was released today, I believe, that the NFL has reached out to all the teams to let them know, to invite them to Colin Kaepernick's workout Saturday. Have you heard anything about this?
This is a sham. This is really a black mark on the league. This is them trying to pan it. Okay, well, there's two sides to this. I'll try to go through it really quickly. So the first side is, they're trying to make it out like Roger Goodell feels bad about the way things played out over the last 3 years. All of a sudden, and they're putting it together this hasty, like pro day style workout for a veteran quarterback on a Saturday. So who's going to be able to go see a quarterback on a Saturday during the fucking season? This many.
Right.
They're all going to be on the road with teams, or it's going to be the one or two teams on the bye week, and even the college scouts. The college scouts can't even go see him because they play fucking college football on Saturday. So, and it's even starting to pop out. Like I've seen little tweets that come out today about, a lot of teams are confused while they're doing this and how they're supposed to react to it. I think it's their way of saying, okay, well, we're giving you a chance. And then if he doesn't get signed to a team, they'll say, see, all along, it's because nobody wanted him. It's almost a way to bully him into trying to jump in and take part of this, because let's keep in mind the NFL is the one setting this up, not Colin Kaepernick. They basically said, hey, we're giving you a pro day workout, and this is the day that it is. Now, if Colin Kaepernick had his druthers, he would reach out to the teams individually and go work out for them individually. A veteran player has no benefit to a pro day style workout. They tried this thing a couple years ago with what they called a veteran combine, and they had a bunch of players that were free agents come out and try out in mass for a bunch of teams. You remember Felix Jones used to play for the Cowboys?
Yeah.
So Felix Jones had bounced around a little bit, and he was one of the players that was out there. One of the things when he came out of college that was his calling card was his speed. He was in kick returns. He was a fast back. Well, he'd aged, and he showed up at this combine and ran like a 4.8 40, and lo and behold, never played it down again. So they stopped doing the veteran combine because guys looked at it like, no, that's going to kill my career if I show up for that. Right. Kaepernick might very well look at this the same way. So I don't think they're doing themselves a service. They're definitely not doing it for Kaepernick. And they're already starting to backpedal off of where they started this morning. So it'll be really interesting to see where it lands.
Yeah, it's definitely a pony show. It's just a PR move to try to save face on their part, in my opinion. I could be completely wrong.
It's not even a good one, though. It's not even well thought out.
No.
Yeah, I don't see I don't see why now. Why week 10, week 11 of the regular season, all of a sudden, where people have quarterbacks. I mean, I was struggling a minute ago when you asked me, like, who needs a quarterback? Most of the teams that are losing aren't losing because of the quarterback.
No.
I mean, the Giants have so many holes that their quarterback can't possibly fill in for the rest of it. Same thing with the Bengals. I mean, all the losing teams actually have quarterbacks. So why now? It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. And so Kaepernick's, summary was, this is what he released on Twitter. I'm just getting word from my representatives that the NFL League office reached out to them about a workout in Atlanta on Saturday. I've been in shape and ready for this for 3 years. Can't wait to see the head coaches and GMs on Saturday.
Well, he has to say that. He can't come out and protest.
Does he? I'm not saying he has to protest it, but I mean, his head coaches and GMs. What head coaches are going to be there? What GMs are going to be there?
Right.
That's what I'm getting at.
They've had some things leak out. Said the Patriots have said they're going to have representatives there, and the Giants said they'll have people there. And whatever. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, they're trying to make it out like this is finally his opportunity to get signed, but he's had the same opportunity for the last 3 years, and some would say he has less of an opportunity now because he's been out of football for a couple of years. If anybody wanted to sign him or was going to put the effort and energy in, aside from the Seahawks who brought him in a couple of years ago for a workout, they could have. Nobody stopped him. Nobody said they couldn't.
Per Adam Schefter, several executives with teams have reached out as a courtesy to Colin Kaepernick's representatives, saying they couldn't attend Saturday's workout and we're confused by the purpose of the NFL scheduling this workout.
The defense
No
rest, Your Honor.
shit. Wow. Yeah, that's a shame. There's no reason for him to have to do this kind of workout. It's Colin Kaepernick. You
I
know what he
agree.
can do.
I agree. And, on its face, I don't think he's going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the league, but he's damn sure going to be better than at least 2 or 3 that are starting. I'd have to really sit and think about which ones now because a lot of the starters were the backups. But, I mean, he could at least be a second string quarterback for a lot of teams, especially a team that employs a lot of this RPO, play action, run based offense, mobile quarterback style stuff, pistol, wildcat, whatever, different variances of it that you want to include in there. He could still run one of those. Win a lot of games? I don't know. Who knows? But he could play quarterback.
Well, you know what? I think we can all, rest easy because per the Bleacher Report, the NFL says that Colin Kaepernick's workout is, now I quote, in no way a PR stunt. So we're good. We're good. It's taken care of. No, we're cool. We're cool. It's not. It's not a PR
the man
stunt.
behind the curtain.
Yeah. You need to make an apology right now, dude.
I'm sorry.
I mean, all one person that watches this fucking podcast, we're going to get shut down because you're talking shit.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is, brother.
Gotta live dangerously, man. Fuck it.
Danger's my middle name. No, I hope that he'll get a shot, but really at this point, I almost don't care anymore. I just want it to be over with. And
No,
I think a lot of people share the same sentiment.
Yeah, no, I don't get. I didn't even know it was a thing till earlier on. I was like, oh shit, this is happening. I didn't even know about it, nor do I care. I mean, he's not going to be a Titan. He's not going to be in Jacksonville, so it's not going to affect me. I mean, I don't wish him any ill will. He's a good quarterback. He should have never been off this long. It makes no sense. So
I agree.
That's a whole separate issue, But whatever. I'm not into that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, one more thing I'll tack on here at the end. It came out just a little bit ago. It seems like the NFL and the players union are getting pretty close to negotiating the next CBA. And one of the things that they're actually both considering, it was a thing for a long time where the NFL wanted more games. The players union said, hell no, there's no condition we would do that. They're actually considering a 17th game. So a 17-game season could be part of the deal. And they're expecting to have the deal finalized by early next year. A lot of this came from Mike Florio at Pro Football Talk. He tends to be very much in the know on these types of matters. But I just thought that was interesting. They kept saying, no, we're not going to do it. But I think a 17th game would be great. You have an instant tiebreaker to a lot of these 8-8 seasons that happen more and more in the NFL. So that'd be cool.
I agree. I would love it to be a 17-game season. I think that'd be, why not? They get paid. All right. So I guess I'm one of them guys. They get paid, dude. I'm sorry. They get paid.
They get paid more.
Yeah, exactly. They would make more. So quit your bitching. I can play a game. Damn. I don't want to hear that shit. All right, cool. Well, I appreciate it. I think everything went just well.
You guys were great. You guys were a lovely audience.
Yay.
Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yay. Yeah. See you next week.
Tune in next week when I have the beard all the way down.
All right, guys.
8 days.
Yeah. All right. Fuck off.
All right.